Injuries then, you had 2 games in close succession, so how are you looking? Have we got Victor Camarasa back?
Yeah, we've still got a couple of knocks, but Victor's back into the squad. I can't think of anybody else. There was 1 or 2 doubts, but nothing untoward.
Have you managed to shake off that bug that was sort of...
Yeah, that's nothing with that. It's just a couple of knocks that we've had in training, really, that's just dismantled a little bit, but well, that shouldn't affect the selection.
Do you think Victor will be fit enough to start against Wolves?
I'll have a chat with him today. He's trained this week, so we'll just have a chat with him and see what he thinks, really. But he'll be involved anyhow.
What do you think ahead of Wolves then? Because it was quite a surprise to see them lose to Huddersfield, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think anybody can beat anybody in the league, as that proved the other night, really. But you can't take it away from them, really. What a great season they've had. Nuno's done a fabulous job. He's my missus's favourite manager, actually. I don't know why, but she said I like him. But I think he's done a super job. He's a lovely man as well. So it's I'm looking forward. We always have good games against each other. And I hope we can put a performance. Not related to the last 2, because Wolves and West Ham next week are all in that same bracket as the last 2 teams we've played against, and they've comprehensively beat us in the end.
Were you surprised at, I suppose, the scorelines against Watford and Everton? Yeah,
very much so. Yeah, I think that. Certain things in the first, I thought the penalty was instrumental in the first game. We never recovered from it, really. And then the second game, 2 really silly, bad defending goals, really, that cost us dearly. And really, at 40 minutes gone, I thought we'd had as many chances as them, and but that's how it is. You get punished if you make a mistake or you lose concentration, and we got punished.
How much of a psychological blow is it to be back in the bottom 3 at this stage?
Well, we've been there before, and it's you don't want to be in there. Everybody will tell you that, but it's one of the things that we thought we'd be there or thereabouts around that position. So I don't think it's anything shock-wise. We've just got to regroup again and go again, as we've had to do over the last few years. I think we're probably at our most dangerous when people write us off. I think we've done well over the last few years when we've been written off.
Do you think that underdog status perhaps suits you best then?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we'll be underdogs now every game, aren't we? But it's not so much that. I just want to try and get us lads, firing on all cylinders again. Really, we've got Niasse coming back as well, which I think we missed him the other night. And we've just got to get together as a team and stay away from these elementary mistakes at the back, which has not just cost us this last couple of games, but it's cost us all season, really. I can't remember ever so many bad goals. We didn't concede bad goals in the Championship. Now you might say that's because of the quality striker, but I don't think it's been because of quality striker. I just think we've made so many elementary mistakes throughout the season this year. Not one in particular per player. I think it's been shared around.
Defensively, are you thinking of changing things then? Because perhaps unfairly, Sean Morrison had some criticism when he came back in, but as you said on Monday, you didn't feel like you had much choice. So are you thinking?
I think it's. I think Sean's an easy target, really, if I'm honest. But I'll be picking what I think is the best team, really, for the game. We haven't got that many options at the back, so I'll be looking at that, and like I say, looking at the opponents as well.
What do you think Wolves' sort of strong points are?
They're really. I mean, they've always been solid at the back, and they've got such great midfield players. And then the signing of the lad up front has been a revelation, really, this season. And Jota and Johnny, and all of them lads have fitted in really well and done really. So it's not been a surprise to me. I think they've had some very, very good results against the top teams as well.
I know you said on Monday you're leaving this to the club, but yesterday obviously William Mackay came out. I'm sure you've seen the comments and things. Were you disappointed with
Michelle, I'll take this. Neil can't speak about that at all now. This is just at board level, so Neil can't take any comments on that situation. I'd appreciate if you respected that.
No problem. Okay, thank you. Finally.
Can you get us a cup of coffee? Can you get us a cup of coffee? I thought there'd been one here, wouldn't you?
Well, you having your cup of coffee?
I've not had one this morning. So.
Will you be having Welsh cakes today? What are you doing for St. Day?
Possibly, but they're not. They don't help your diet, do they? The Welsh cakes, because you tend to have one and then have another one.
This must be your first St. Day. No, your second, third.
Yeah. I don't know, Michelle. At my age, you don't think back. 3? 2. 2 to St David. 3.
Rob's counting, at least.
Okay.
You qualify for international representation now.
Yeah.
You lived here long enough.
Is that a dual passport? No, do you get? I don't know.
Of course you do. Thanks, Neil.
Neil, we were talking to Leandro Cooney yesterday, and he was saying that the players have spoken to each other. I'm sure they've spoken to you and said that they know with Watford and Everton that they were sloppy, that they relaxed, so they took their foot off the gas. And he admitted, he said probably because we were happy with what happened against Bournemouth and Southampton. As a manager, are you pleased that they've done a bit of self-analysis and they've come up with that, or are you just frustrated that at this stage of the season they have taken their foot off the gas?
Well, I think it came about because I had a chat with them all yesterday, and put my point of view forward about the remainder of the season, and after that meeting, I think they stayed in and had a meeting of their own. So I was quite pleased about that. I think it was talking about certain things, no doubt, that I commented on, and I think they're a good group of lads. You can't fault the effort ever. They're just a good, they just know that they've been sloppy. Like he says, Leo himself has been sloppy, So it's a matter of everybody trying to rectify that and giving a good account of ourselves. We'll have a great following. So it's a good atmosphere down there, and I just think we've just got to give it a good best go now.
And again, I wonder sort of at this stage of the season when they are making those sort of admissions, albeit after having had a conversation with you, is your instinct to say to them, come on guys, wake up and smell the coffee and be adults about this, or are you still nurturing them through
No, I
nerves?
think with players at any level, when you do make mistakes, you tend to you don't tend to look in the mirror. You tend to look around, and I was a winger and I used to blame the ball or the centre forward or the crowd or something. You don't tend to look in the mirror, and all I've said to them is have a look at your own performances and do you think you've done as well as you could do in the last couple of games, and then then they have to look at themselves. Really, that's all I've asked them to do, and I think there's a few of them lads that know that they've underachieved, so they'll be desperate to try and put it right. Really, I think as I know what they like.
The thing that really I was quite impressed with Leandro yesterday was that I said to him about the Wolves game. He said we're going up there and we will win. And normally we hear from them, we're going to work hard and we're going to be after all 3 points and we'll put all the effort in. He said, no, we are going to win. Is that a player who's confident, having spoken to his teammates, and they've got that sort of mentality behind them? Or do you think that's just wishful thinking?
I think it's just confidence. He knows that it's not a lack of confidence. When I say not a lack of confidence, I think one or two players probably in the last couple of games have not done things we are good when we do what we're good at. When we're asked, or when they think they can do something that probably that other people have asked them to do, whether it be media or radio or anything else, I think we become, we don't become the side that we are. So we have to, we've got to focus on what we do as a team and how we get results, and not worry about anybody else's opinion, really. And that's what I've asked them to do their own job, really. And if they can help the mate out at the same time, we're going to need that, because, the good atmospheres, aren't they? The games coming up, it's, there's no quiet game that you go away. They're all difficult and noisy, and going to be good games, I think.
And with 10 games to go, are you seeing any hint of nerves in the dressing room, and can that actually be used as a positive thing?
I don't think it was nerves. I think just to probably disappoint me. I think the half time against Watford was strange for me, really, because it wasn't our normal. So down not having the penalty, and no matter what you say about don't let it affect you, I didn't think we were ever ourselves in that second half, and but apart from that, they've been right as rain, really. I can't fault them. They come out against second half against Everton, and I thought did well, and then another stupid mistake, and we're 2 down, and we do shoot ourselves in the foot. We don't help ourselves at all. How often this season have we been in front? I can't remember. I bet it's not on one hand how often we've been in front in a game, and we're always fighting against it. We've got to be better than that, and try and get in front and give our opponents problems and things to think about.
You said you've got to regroup now and fight on for these final 10 games. Have you got the energy to do that, or are you feeling a bit shattered by it?
Oh, I think everything that's gone off this season, it has been difficult. It is hard. It's no good saying it hasn't been hard, but I don't feel any different now. I just feel disappointed, because I thought the first goal against Everton, I think if we'd have got that, we'd have won, because I could sense nervousness in their ranks. So that's another thing that disappointed me. To concede such a silly goal just before half time. But now you've just got to go. You've just got to keep going. I don't think there's anything else you can do. Managers are judged on the performances, aren't they? Really, and they haven't been good enough last couple of games.
You talked about managers being judged on performances, and unfortunately,
I was bringing it up to you. That's why I was trying to.
I so appreciate the synergies. Thank you very much indeed. Checks in the post. Obviously, Claudio Ranieri, we've seen his sacking yesterday. He's paid the price for Fulham's position. I wonder what your reaction was to that, whether as a manager who, is aware yourself that Cardiff has still got to fight, whether you feel that people are too quick to pull the trigger in those sort of circumstances, or actually whether it was a sensible decision, bearing in mind there are still 10 games to go.
My wife says, why don't you get the sack like that? Only been there so many days. I said, I don't know. It's one of those things, darling. But I just feel that the job is so difficult nowadays, and the owners decide, don't they? If they want to change the manager, they change the manager. It's something that you can't help. You can't change that. The lifespan of a manager now is relatively low in comparison to how it was 10, 20 years ago. You used to be able to say you want to build for the future, but now you build for next month. And that's at every level. I look at teams with envy about the money they spend, and like I did against Fulham. But it just shows you, doesn't it? For whatever you spend, that they're no better off than what we were. So it's not always about money. But the teams at the top end have their own pressures. They're fighting for the Championship, they're fighting for the Europe, as well as the relegation battle. So I think there's pressures everywhere, really, and it's just how you cope with it. I'm sure when I do call it a day, you'll miss some of that pressure, but you won't miss it. You won't miss it a lot, will you? I'll be, this morning when I woke up and looked out the window, I thought it would be nice just to stay in bed this morning, wouldn't it? Really, looking at the sea, one of them days, But you soon get out of that, and. You know that you're going to get so many disappointments in football, and it's how you react to that and how you. I think it would be different for us if they were chanting, "You don't know what you're doing," like when Ranieri made the substitute and things like that. That wouldn't have lasted long with me anyhow. Because as soon as that happened, then that's me done, And I've been very fortunate that I've got a fantastic support. The supporters have been amazing, and hence why I'm still managing, really, because of their not just love and devotion, but the way they get behind the team. Yes, I know you're going to get people went home early and things. I don't, you can't blame them, really. So I don't, I'm almost understand where they're coming from, but I know that they'll be going up that motorway on Saturday expecting our lot to put in a performance and make them proud, and that's what we aim to do.
Very best of luck with him.
Thank you.
Neil, on Camarasa, is he in his own mind confident of his fitness now? Because you've been patient, haven't you? You've got to be patient.
I think I've said enough on that, Rob, if I'm honest. I don't want to get Blakey's back up. I've seen Blakey's comments today, so he said I should keep it within house.
Okay, but he is, as far as you're concerned, he's ready now. And
I've been informed by our medical people that his medical people have said he's ready. And they've agreed he's ready, so I would imagine he'll be in the squad.
And if he is, you'd expect him to be mentally, because the players have got to be up for it, haven't they?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that part of him. I mean, he was disappointed he couldn't play himself personally. Are you with me? In the last few games, so he's a lovely lad, and you're not going to get anything less than 100%. I mean, he's got so much ability, and we do miss it. We miss that, especially at this level. You need those kind of players in your team. And we have missed him, so hopefully he'll be able to contribute in the last 10 games, because he's a game changer.
And you were saying on Tuesday, you know, now you mentioned the 10 games, the sort of final straight in some ways. You need those who are in the trenches with you, who want to be in the trenches with you.
Yeah, I haven't got many that don't want to be in the trenches. I've got a couple of lads who probably are a little bit low in believing in themselves. I think that, you know, they don't have enough belief in themselves, one or two of the lads, and you usually get that in certain types of players, and we've got a couple that are a little bit low on belief, but that comes back in the space of in space of half an hour. So it's just a matter of the other lads, getting through that, and they've got to realise that they've still got an important part. These players, when they've got to try and get their own confidence back, because we're going to need sparks between now and the end of the season.
We did look at how many points it might take.
Oh no, not at all, really. Not from our point of view. I mean, you saw the last two games, and you look at the fixtures that we've got. Where do you get points from? If you look at it realistically, but if we'd have looked at it all season, we'd still been on 10 points, wouldn't we? So I don't look at that, because I think we're quite capable of getting points from some of the other games that we're not supposed to. I mean, when I look at the games coming up, without mentioning which ones, I think we're quite capable if we're up to scratch, if we're ready for it, and that will. I think that will determine. The next two games are very important. I realise that, because we've got 3 weeks, haven't we, after that now, with the Brighton game being called off. So it's that's another part of the season that's not been really thought about before. How you can have 3 weeks off at this time of season. It's but yeah.
And the common sort of consent after the last few results is that there's one position that nobody wants, the last relegation place, and it's between Cardiff, Brighton and Southampton. Do you see it like that, or do you still think there's so many twists and turns?
I honestly don't. I don't see that. I only look at ourselves, really. We if we don't get enough points, we've no chance anyhow. So it's down to us, really. We'll get relegated if we play like we have the last two games. But if we play like the previous two games, our fans will probably be talking about Europe. It's such a game. I think everybody expected us to be at the bottom, and we're not. We've got 10 games to go, and we've got a fighting chance. And I think if you'd have said to 95% of our fans, if March the 1st you've got a chance of staying up with 10 games to go, would you take that? And they'd have snapped your hand off. It's just that because we've done better than what everybody thought, expectations have become bigger now. And I don't mind that, because my expectations are bigger now as well, because I think we should stay up, and I think that's what I said to the players yesterday. They've got to grasp it now, the opportunity, because they don't come along very often.
And not referring to yesterday in particular, but for this club to maintain its focus the way it has, given everything, we don't need to go over everything, but given everything, what an achievement that would be to say.
Well, it would be a miracle. I've said that all along, but even more so, having had to go through what we've had to go through in the last few months. It's just been unreal, really. And that type of season. I didn't want to write another book, but when I've retired, I probably might have to just sketch one.
And how difficult has it been for you to retain focus? Because you've had to carry a lot on your shoulders, above and beyond what any other managers had to cope with.
Well, I don't think I could have coped. I think at times like this, I think you realise about your family. I think your family is more important than football. And then I think you've just got to be focused on what it is. And it's not easy to be focused, when there's so much going off. But at the end of the day, these tragic things happen, and you've just got to get on with it. And I think the club has been fantastic. Like I say, the supporters have never wavered, and we've got to concentrate on that. And we know wherever we go away from home, we've got six away games as well. And I know that all the teams have been talking about, well, we've got so and we've got Cardiff at home. But it won't be easy for these teams to play against us, because they'll be expected to beat us. And I think that's when we're at our best, me.
All the best, man.
Neil, Bobby Reeves played in the number 10 role. Camarasa might come back. Is it difficult to get them both in the same team?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Have you got an idea, solution?
Well, one will, and usually the way that I manage, one gets injured at the same time the next one, and then I think how lucky I am to have a selection dilemma. No, I mean you have to look at that. I think any manager will tell you you've got to try and get your best players in the team, as many as you can. And that's what we've been, we're trying to do really. I think 10 games to go, I still think that the players that you mentioned can do better, and I think they all can. So I think it's interesting, how we can get certain players in the team and what we can do, and that's why you do have to change things here and there. But you've still got to look at the opponents, and you can't just throw the towel in and let them do what they want. You've got to be organised, because you've got no chance at this level if you're not organised.
I appreciate you can't get everyone in the team. You can't pick 14, but Harry Arter, Callum Patterson, they're both on the bench the other night. Is it difficult to try and get them back in the team as well?
I think they've just, you've just got to look at it, at what the team you think could get a result, and focus on which is you think's your best players, And I've had a couple of dilemmas, really, in the selection problem when I've looked at Wolves, and now I've got to make a decision in the next half an hour on those two, really. When I get back up there, we're just going to have a quick video and then make our mind up finally.
So Joe Rouse had a pelvic problem today. Is he?
Sorry, who?
Joe Rouse. Is he?
Yeah, he did. He trained yesterday. He did some light training yesterday, and I mean, Joe's been super. Joe's been probably the best player we've had in the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, until he made his mistake for the second goal against Watford, I think it was. But overall, I think he's come to the fore. Really, he's done really, really well. So it's another choice, and if he says he's right, we've got to decide whether we include him as well. Are you with me? It's nice to have that choice. I'm not going to say it is more difficult for me, but I'd rather have that choice than have nobody to choose from.
You talked about the penalty. Have you made a formal complaint about the referee to the league?
No, I do that every week.
But you did bring up and...
you might as well save your breath.
Right.
Okay? I mean, when the referee says he made a mistake, it doesn't really help you, does it?
No.
When you come in to see a press and you've got beat 5, he should be sat at side of me there, Simon, and say, could you answer the questions, please, Simon? And I'm sure he would do his best. But no, listen, they've always got an answer, haven't they? And I realise it's a hard job, but there are certain referees I hope we don't get again this season. But we won't go into names.
But you have to press the button sometimes, don't you? Because they need to be very accountable.
Well, when I go in and I ask them how do they feel when they look back and know that it's a defining moment and it's their error, do they feel bad, or do they just get on with the next game? Because I've worked my socks off for a week in preparation to be let down by somebody who should be better, and that's my disappointment. Do they? But I am assured, because we have got some very good referees, and I am assured that the referees do care, and that they do kick themselves a little bit when they've made mistakes like that. I'm sure they do. It is, it's one of those you can't win. I personally, the only thing I don't like about the referees today is that there are a few of them, 4 or 5 of them, who have a little bit of an arrogance about them, which they don't need to have. And I don't think they need to play to you lot. I think my dad used to say, a good referee is one you don't see. And the good referees, so they don't need that arrogance on the top of it. And I think if they could get away with that, they'd become a lot far better.
Was that a VAR moment?
What?
The penalty that wasn't...
oh, absolutely, everybody. So,
so hopefully
30 seconds, yeah.
Or whenever it comes in.
Yeah. I'm 70 though, I might not see that. So, it's one of those things. You don't know what's around the corner. Yesterday I went to see my assistant manager for many years, Mick Jones, who's in hospital, and he's not in a good way at the minute. And that's all in the space of 4 weeks. He's had a problem, and I think it just brings it home, doesn't it? Really, that you just don't know what's around the corner, and whether you're young or old, it doesn't seem to matter.
how do we portray the meeting you had with the players? Is this a crisis meeting? Is it a sit down and bang the table meeting, or how would you put it?
One of them. It was one of them where I wanted to talk, really, and they had to listen. I don't know how, we don't have many of them in a season, but we do have. We have a few. We have a few here and there.
You've been in this situation before, battling against relegation. Do you have previous experience to draw on? Are you the expert in what's going to happen over the next 10 games, or how are you viewing it? No,
not really. I just know that sometimes when you're expected to get beat, the results can change. And what I think, you tend to just look at your own problems. Whether and believe you me, other clubs have got problems, but you only tend to look at your own. So, you've got to forget that and just focus on the next game and don't worry about, because other clubs will have bad results in the next few weeks as well. So we've just got to concentrate on ourselves in that respect.
You went to Wolves and won last year. You could do the same this time.
Yeah, we always do well. I think it's always, I think it's an excellent stadium. One of the first ones I ever, as a Scarborough manager, I remember going down there and getting a draw when I were chiropodists then. I was just had to, I think I was doing Mrs. Jones, I think you were talking about Mick Jones, Mrs. Jones's feet about 3:15, and then down at Molyneux for 7:45 kickoff. Those were the days, weren't they?
Bunions or nails?
It was an ingrowing toenail, Mrs. Jones. Yeah. But that was my speciality.
I think Fran's got a couple of bunions coming, so maybe you're going to...
I was very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Cheers, Neil.